legalize medical marijuana, yes or no, you decide. Reason for legalization: pain from AIDS, nausea from chemotherapy, epilepsy afflictions that cause cannabis that has been shown to alleviate. That's from the New York Times. It shows that it alleviates some of the pain from chemotherapy. It makes you where you're not so nauseous and throwing up. Drugpolicy.org says 70% of voters support the right of patients to use medical marijuana with doctors' recommendations. 23 states and the District of Columbia under state law for the use of medical marijuana. WebMD did a survey of 1,544 doctors. The survey found solid support for legalization efforts. Most doctors saying they agreed that if it should be an option for patients. The doctors were from 48 different states and more than 12 different specialties that did the survey that agreed that it should be an option for as long as it was medically documented. WebMD, families are moving closer to Colorado for their young children who have seizures, disorders, to get cannabis treatments. There is one incident, a child was having 15 seizures a day from the time she was born. And since she's been taking the cannabis treatment, she's gone to 1 seizure a month. And so her doctor has called for the Drug Enforcement Administration to relay its restrictions so it can be studied further and children get the help they need. 69% of doctors say it can help with certain treatments and conditions. 67% say it should be a medical plan for patients. 36% support making it legal nationwide. 50% of doctors in the states where it's not legal say it should be legal in their states. Increased tax revenue in all states that were legalized the use of medical marijuana and marijuana in general. The reasons against it, medicalmarijuana.pro.org said it was too dangerous for the use, lack of FDA approval, and that the various drugs that are out there can treat the problems that are out there also, that you don't have to have marijuana to treat those. 23 states have approved the use of medical marijuana, but not federally. So anybody that is using the product or anybody that's delivering the product or helping the product get to the patients are all bound by federal law and could be arrested and prosecuted. And it hurts society and it's bad for individuals. That's one of the biggest concerns. There's plenty of discussion out there about this topic, but for me personally, after watching Weed Country on Discovery and seeing it be used for medical purposes in children, I would have to agree for medical purposes. It should be legalized. As a teenager, I tried it. It made me feel stupid. Didn't do anything for me. It didn't make me want to do it anymore. But for my ex, who used regular marijuana, thought he could do it daily. He thought that he could, as long as he had a job and paid bills, he could smoke all the pot he wanted. Where it began to affect our family and affect our lives and our kids, and I had enough. I was not dealing with it. I had children. It didn't need to be a part of life. But he still, as today, thinks it has to be a part of his life. So I think when actual marijuana becomes control over you, that's when it becomes a problem. And for him, it was controlling his life. But after watching that show and seeing it being used for medical purposes, if my child was injured or was hurt and was suffering, I would do everything in my power to get them the medicine they needed. And if I had to do it illegally, I would do it illegally because I would make sure they were taken care of. I would not want to see my child suffer from 15 seizures a day and not be able to live any type of normalcy. From pain meds to nausea to chemotherapy, if you've ever seen anybody die from cancer, you would want them to have medical marijuana to help with that pain, to help with that nausea, any of the symptoms they have. It's just not something that anybody should have to experience at any time in their life, and they should be able to have that option. And taking that option away from them is where the problem lies. It doesn't lie in the fact that it could be bad for you and It's never killed anybody, ever. There's no written or no facts that it's killed people. The only facts there is that it's helped people, so it definitely should be approved. So I have to vote yes for medical marijuana. I don't think it should be an everyday thing. I don't think everybody should be allowed to smoke pot whenever they want, but I do believe that for medical purposes it should be allowed.